Can you comfortably do long journeys in the standard range Tesla Model 3? We're going to do 1,000 miles. Let's find out. Most people are worried about buying the Standard Range Plus because it only has 250 to 230 miles of range. So today I wanted to go on a super long road trip to try and put this myth to bed. Now, this could all go wrong. We're going to be doing 1,000-mile round trip to north of Scotland in a Standard Range Plus. So far I have the trip to Aviemore, which is a supercharger in Aviemore, and it's 409 miles. We're then going to travel from Aviemore up to Invergordon, but the sat-nav was having a little bit of a trouble finding the route there, so I'm just going to go to Aviemore first. And that's 7 hours, that's 8-hour journey, 409 mile total, and then we're going up to Invergordon, and then we're going to do it all the way back. Now, it's very hot, and Invergordon's got lots of beautiful seaside, so I might try and get a little dip in the ocean whilst we're there. But yeah, let's go along. So I want to add, just before I start the journey, I've got no aero wheels on the car, so that's going to affect the range. And we have a full film set with us, which is literally way in the back of the car down. So that is going to probably affect the range as well. We're starting with a full charge, which is giving us just under 230 miles. Let's go. I just want to note, we've been driving for about 15 miles, I think, no, about 10 miles maybe. I feel like the range is going a little bit quicker, and it's probably because we've got about 300 kilos of equipment in the back. I'm not 100% sure. For the last 5 miles, we're averaging 195 watt hours per mile. So I'll find out. Obviously, that's not going to get us there very much. But yeah, I think it's draining a little bit faster. So this is the Model 3 Standard Range Plus for this 1,000 mile journey is also handicapped by the fact that it's got all this weight in the car and no aero wheels on it. But let's find out. We're off to the Scotch border now. That's our first supercharging stop. And this is the range. If you just come over to the consumption wheel, we've got 211 miles of projected range. Scotch border is 100 miles away, and we're going to do a charge when we get to Scotch corner, sorry. Then we go Gretna Green, Perth, Aviemore, charge in Aviemore, then go to Invergordon. Almost down the first 100 miles. I'm not really bothered about what I'm averaging in terms of what hours. I'm doing about 70. It says 72 on there, but around 70, because I would rather spend less time on the road and more time in the charger, if you know what I mean, because I'm on Netflix. I'm not speeding, obviously, but I'm not doing 60. So the average watt hour per mile over the last 15 miles is 291. For the last 30 miles is 266. So not the best watt hour per mile. But like I say, I'm not bothered. The superchargers are fast. I'm hoping, we'll find out. The superchargers are kind of fast. I want to take a break. I've been in autopilot for 95% of this. First 100 miles, I feel really fresh. I'm hopeful that this is going to be amazing. Like an amazing journey. This is probably the longest journey I've ever done recently. I've done Paris and back, but I think this could be up there with Paris and back. No, in fact, Paris is only 300 miles. So yeah, this is the longest journey I've ever done. 1,000 miles, and I'm doing it in the Tesla Model 3, the standard range one. We'll see how it goes. I'm really hopeful, but so far, first 100 miles down, almost, going to the supercharger now, in the Scotch corner, and I feel amazing, I feel really fresh, and it's been a fine and really relaxing journey. So we're just about to pull into the supercharger right now. The battery, as you've been seeing, has been preconditioning for a fast charge. I don't know what stores, what version of supercharger they've got here, so I don't know how fast it's going to charge. I'm not that bothered. We're actually quite excited because we're watching on Netflix.
Parts Unknown.
Parts Unknown by Anthony Bourdain, is that right?
Yeah.
So we selected a TV show we're going to watch whilst we're here. When we're doing all the supercharging stops, and me and Will love TV, documentaries, films, everything, so it's actually like kind of a joy, and I'm hoping they've got some nice food here as well. So yeah, we're at the Scotch Corner Supercharger on the A1, and we're going to see what it is like. Okay, so we're here, nice Model X. Is he pulling out? Okay. So there you go, supercharging. It's if I'm being honest, it's a little bit hidden. They've not advertised it very well. Need a big sign up, but there we go. We're at a supercharging stall. I'm just going to jump on a random stall. I don't know if you can hear me. Supercharger 1, supercharging location 1. Which one's the one I need? This one. Push the button. Nope, I'm using the wrong one. I'm an amateur, guys. This is my first road trip. That's the one we need. Obviously, the holes match. It's like a child's game, Jordan. Let's go inside, see if it's accepting that charge. Wow, here we go, guys. I love this bit off to the races. 400 miles an hour, 440. Cool, so we're at 440, we're getting 97 kilowatts. So it's not one of the best superchargers. I'm guessing this is a V1 maybe. This car, I'm pretty sure, is capable of 250 kilowatts. I might be wrong. So 25 minutes remaining. I'm gonna let it go up quite a bit. I'm probably gonna find myself saying this a lot on this trip, but I just want to thank you guys for this. This wouldn't, not that it wouldn't be possible, but it makes it a lot more easy of a decision because you guys have been using the referral link, which means that we've got the free supercharging miles, which is major. Like, I really do appreciate it. And it means that the cost of this trip to travel there is kind of zero. So it means I can make this content because you're using the referral link and I'm getting the free supercharger miles. I do appreciate it. I think we've got 3,000 or 4,000 free supercharger miles, so I do really appreciate it. And there's a few more referrals that have come through. If you're thinking of using the link, thank you so much. If you think about buying a Tesla, have a look at the link below. So I was going to make a video about this. Yesterday, I upgraded to the unlimited, I can't remember what it's called, but basically you get the data. It's £10 a month from Tesla, and I've updated it. And it was so simple to update it. They already had my card on file. I just pressed yes that I wanted it. And honestly, as I pressed yes on the phone, it popped up on the screen here and it says, you have now upgraded to premium connectivity. And it happened like that. In 1 second, the card did a quick little reset. And within a minute, I was watching Netflix again on premium connectivity. All my Spotify came up with all my Spotify songs. I'm gonna unplug the car now. We're off to Abington, so the next leg of the journey is 130 miles, and then we're going to be charging in Abington Supercharger. So we're back on the road. We've just done the Scotch Corner. We're going through some lovely, lovely countryside. The next leg is 130 miles. The service stop was really nice, dead easy, put a bit of TV on. I enjoyed it. It's working out really well for me so far. Can't say anything bad about this car yet, so we'll find out if it becomes a hassle. So there is the last 15 miles. It's very hilly around here, so it's a little bit random. Projected range 280 miles as it stands. We are another, I think, 50 miles in. So we've covered around 150 miles now, almost at the halfway point of this first leg. It's going really well. I would say my prediction is that this is the longest length we've got, by the way, leg of the journey from a supercharger to another supercharger. So if it does this bit all right, we're fine. I would say the Standard Range Plus at this point is doing a fantastic job, and I don't think having a longer range one would make that much difference. It might save you one supercharging journey on the whole trip, which for me at the moment wouldn't be too much of a problem. Actually, I'm really enjoying the fact that we're going to stop off in a minute and get some food, watch some TV and blah blah blah. I'm actually liking the idea of that and stretching my legs. I think this is the way long road trips should be done, just my opinion. If you're making a 300-mile trip or 400-mile trip every day, which I don't know who does that, but I know there are people out there, then maybe the long range is for you. But for your average person who's looking to do like a holiday in France or in Paris or something like that, this seems like it's good enough, which is kind of crazy because I was a bit skeptical about using this for long journey. But we're only at the start. Things could obviously change. Things can go wrong. But so far it looks so good, and this is beautiful down here. So we are heading up we're going past Lockerbie, and we're going to be right near the Scottish border. I'm going to go now, have a look at this beautiful scenery. So we just did a little detour to Morrison's to get some road trip snacks. William didn't get donuts. Guys, come on, someone comment below what a buffoon he is. But I thought I'd reroute it. The sat-nav had been struggling for a while to navigate us to Invergordon, which is where we want to go. So I was going to one place and then navigating. So I just tried Invergordon. It's navigating to Invergordon, but it's given us 7% battery in Invergordon, which is kind of worrying. Journey is gonna get a little bit stressful now. I'm gonna be a little bit more careful. There's the Penrith Castle just on your left. Go on, Will, get the Penrith Castle in. This is all new to me. But now we are on the way. We're going a lot further. We're doing a bigger trip now. We're on the way to Glasgow. We're gonna be on the outskirts of Glasgow. We're gonna charge at the Glasgow Supercharger. We get there with 7%, which is kind of scary. So I'm just gonna take it nice and easy. And then we go straight we dip to Perth and then on to Inverness. To the Euro Central Supercharger, which I think is just on the outskirts of Glasgow. It says we're going to get there with 8%, but it's a little bit worrying because we've gone red. It says we've only got 45 miles left. There's about 20 or 30 miles left to travel, and it's just gone red into 45 miles. Remember, we're carrying all this extra weight, and we've not got the aero wheel caps on, so what the car thinks is possible probably isn't actually what is possible. Although it's been amazing so far. I'm actually shocked how accurate it's been, but it's just a little bit worrying. If we go to energy, projected range 36, okay, so that's not good, and that's even with this big hill we've just come down. So projected range is 37 miles, even with this massive hill we've just gone down. So we're really going to be scraping it. So I'll keep you updated. If we make it without any problems, all good, but I'm imagining this 8% is going to keep dropping to 7 to 6 to 5 all the way up until we get there. I'm going to keep it at 70 miles per hour. Probably my famous last words that I regret, but I'm going to keep it at 70 miles per hour. If that gets to 5, then I'll start to adjust. Is it going to be uneventful? A long journey in the Standard Range Model 3? Let's find out. We are very close now to the supercharger. Well, not very close, we've got a while to drive, but the percentage of the battery was at 8%. It's now jumped up to 9%, so I have no worries now. I don't have any worries in the world. We are pulling up to the Euro Central UK Supercharger. This one looks like it might have a bit of a bigger supercharger. It looks like more of an industrial estate. Battery is very low. Let's plug this in and get on the road. So this is the second supercharger of the journey. I'm kind of excited for a little stop. So we're getting just under 118 kilowatts, 540 miles an hour. And just plugged in, and we've added 14 miles already. So we've added 17 miles, 18 miles now. And for people who are non-EV owners, you go, wow, if I was just, if I wanted to nip to the neighbouring town or the neighbouring city, I could just plug in 20 miles, done, and go on my way. And yeah, you could do that, but if you're an EV owner, you know you don't do it that way. You just let the vehicle fill up, and it's like, you rarely come to these chargers because your car's nearly always full up. You don't walk around with a mobile phone at 10% all the time. Well, some of you do, like me, but you try and have it full all the time. You want it almost full all the time. It's the same with your car. It's just always full. Your car's always got 200-300 miles of range on. It's only on these long journeys will you need to come to these superchargers. You're not going to use them as much as you think you're going to use them. Misconception. But I was the same when I was thinking about buying the Tesla. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to be nipping out to Grantham to use a supercharger. It's like, no, you don't. You don't need to you won't nip out to Grantham to go charge your car up. You're charging it at home. So I genuinely, at the start, thought, I'm going to be travelling to Grantham to go charge the vehicle up. How stupid is that? Okay, so we're at the Glasgow supercharger. It's called Eurocentral. The Eurocentral supercharger is just on the outskirts of Glasgow. Just something to note, where William made a good point about the superchargers that we've been to. And expand, William.
Yeah, I've noticed at these at the superchargers that normally when you park up to get your petrol and stuff, you can go to the toilet and you can go to the shops and you can get some food and snacks. And these ones have all been, well, this is a company car park, I think, and the last one was a hotel car park. So there's no...
Yeah, so it's something I didn't really think of. I thought all superchargers were at service centres. Services. I always thought all superchargers were at the services, which is in the UK is like a stop off where you get your fuel when you're on the motorways and stuff. But these ones haven't been. And I mean, we are on A roads, we're not on motorways, but it's something I didn't realise, and it's kind of silly. But yeah, there's no toilets, there's no, and in these two at least, we might have just gotten lucky, but there's no toilets, there's no shops or anything like that, which isn't too much of a problem, but just something I thought I'd know. And then a second thing, which I think is interesting, I think it's actually a positive thing, but for the actual trip, we could be spending a lot less time at the supercharger. We've probably been here now 20 minutes. We could leave. We could have left 10 minutes ago. I think we only need 10 minutes of charge. I like the idea of sitting here for half an hour, 40 minutes with the Netflix on, blah, 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 and then drive off. But that's not the case. The car charges up really fast. And unless you were doing a really long leg, you don't get more than 20-30 minutes. 30 minutes is great so I can watch a Netflix show, but we're probably watching half an episode then going again, half an episode then going again. But yeah, second supercharger, really easy, not a problem whatsoever, easier than I thought, which is kind of a negative because I really wanted to be sitting here. But anyway, back to the road, guys. We're going to get off again. Now we are heading back onto the M8, so we are on a motorway onto the M8 to go to Perth, UK. And we'll supercharge there, and then it's on to Invergordon. So the last supercharging stop is in Perth, UK. Preconditioning battery. We're in the clouds. You can't really see, but there's a beautiful sight over there, just mountainous ranges. So yeah, the battery's preconditioning for fast charging, which means we're very close to the next supercharger in Perth, not Australia, in the UK. Didn't know there was a Perth in the UK, but apparently there is. I'm really praying that this one has a service centre where I can use the loo, because I have had about 6 cups of coffee. No, it's like 1 cup of coffee, 1 of these, and I've had 3 Pepsis now. So my bladder is kind of screaming at me to stop drinking liquids because I haven't been to the toilet yet. But yeah, this journey's just been so easy. We'll see that there's a long leg through mountainous ranges after this charge to get into Invergordon. I'm thinking about bumping the charge up a little bit, but yeah, it's been fine so far, so all good. We are at the Perth service centre, and it looks like it's a proper service centre, this one. They're gonna have toilets.
So
I just need to find out where on earth the chargers are. Guys, can you tell me why there's a Model 3 Performance there using a different charger? There's a Model 3 Performance and he's using a V-Volt charger. Look, there's a can you see in the distance? There's a Model 3 Performance down there and he's using the Volt chargers. Maybe it's not his car, or maybe they're faster. We're at the Perth Supercharger now. We've done 350 miles, I think. I'm gonna have to check. I'm kind of guesstimating these numbers in the top of my head. But this is the 3rd charge visit, and that's kind of good. 3. Bug update. Let's have a look. Oh, can you see that? Bug update. We've got shades of green, shades of red, shades of brown, shades of yellow, shades of orange. What else? What other colours we got? That's about it. Red, yellow, green, orange. Look at that big green splatter down there. So I'm going to try and get as much charge as possible, because when we get to Invergordon, we've got some work to do whilst we're down there. And I need to be able to do return. I've got the trickle charger with me, but I prefer to try and use as much supercharger miles as possible. So we're getting 85 kilowatts at the moment, 390 miles an hour. We've had a 10 miles of range. Obviously I've only been here a few minutes. I only need to do this for 20 minutes, then we can get to where we need to go to. But like I say, I want to do a nice return journey to here from Invergordon, which is a big journey. So I'm gonna pop Netflix on. The car is getting around 250 to 260 miles an hour at the moment, so the charging speed has slowed down a little bit here. I don't know if the car didn't preheat enough, or it's just because we've been slamming the supercharging sessions, I don't know. But don't make a difference to me. I'm fine. We've added 70 miles at the moment. We've got 10 minutes remaining. You know, what my point is at the moment is, I don't know if it's the fact that the Teslas, the ranges are good. Obviously we had the long range Model S, and I sort of, when I went back to this car, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have range anxiety, because I've gone from having like 370 miles on the clock to having 250 or whatever. So I was a little bit worried about having range anxiety, and I did a little bit, because I was always like, when you're in the Model S, you've always got like 200 to 250 miles, even if you use top-up charging. I always had at least 250 miles available. And now it's always like, I've always got like 150 miles available. So I thought, I'm gonna have range anxiety. I don't know, this is what I'm trying to say, sorry. I don't know if it speaks volumes about whether this car is more than enough, or this car plus the supercharging network is more than enough. A trip to Paris is gonna be around 320 miles, I think it is. You can go from London to Paris piece of piss, no problem. The trip to Berlin we're planning on doing is, I think, 600 miles, something like that. So only 200 miles more than this journey. That's going to be a piece of piss. It's going to be easy. When you're driving these kinds of distances, you want to take a break. Like, this is the way I think you should do a journey. So I don't know if it's speaking volumes about the Tesla supercharger network, or that the ranges are really good. I can't really tell you. Either way, in the UK at the very least, you kind of sorted. I don't think there's many places you can't reach. Like, we're literally going to the north of Scotland right now from the middle of the UK, and it's kind of no problem. I'm going to do 1,000 miles. It's not altered the journey even, so kind of crazy. update. Bug update. Bug update. Bug update's not that bad.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Just finished the charge. I'm just about to lock it off. We've just charged up 126 miles. It only took 15 minutes, 15 minutes. I mean, you could probably work it out. 100, it's doing well over 100 miles an hour. It's just slowed down now, obviously, because it's getting near the end of the thing. But yeah, I've got more than I need now. So easy, guys. So now we are going. Let's get out of here. Get in your Bronco, we've got to go, man. What are you doing out there? So this Model 3 Performance is stuck behind me for some reason. Look, he's driving behind us. And we're inside the Model 3. 3 white Model 3s in a row. This woman is going to freak out. She's never had such a treat in her life. 3 white Model 3s. All in a row. Best thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, 105-mile road. I've got to travel down now. So the last time I did this journey, like a long road like this for Scotland, it's a bit of a fast. It doesn't seem like it, but it's a lot of concentration going in a straight line. All the lines going past you start to space out a bit, you start to get a bit of headache in the side of your eyes. You guys know what I'm on about if you've driven far before. I'm so excited. This is what I always thought autopilot is designed for this. So literally now, we're going to sit back and just let the car do the work for this whole journey. It's going to be, amazing. We're about to go through a national park to get to Inverness. I've never driven through this national park before, so it's exciting for me. And we've already seen some lovely mountain ranges. So when that builds up, I'll pop the camera on again. But yeah, 104 miles of listening to some sweet tunes or maybe a podcast and chilling out for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
77 miles left. The views have been unbelievable. Very hard to capture from inside the car. We're almost there. We're deep in the highlands of Scotland. It's gorgeous. And here is front bumper update. It's getting messy. So we're not even halfway through the journey yet, and it's getting messy. So we are coming quite close. We've got 10 miles left of our journey. I think this leg will mark around 450 miles. I'd have to check to be exact, but I think it's around 450 miles we've travelled so far. Whilst we're here, probably going to do another 100 miles on our project that we're working on for a different thing. And then we've got the 450 miles, or maybe a little bit more on the way back, because I might have to take a detour. So we're almost at halfway through the 1,000 miles already. This is the furthest I've ever driven. So I've done Paris, from Nottingham to Paris, which is close to this. I've done from Nottingham to Fort Williams, which is also quite close to this. We passed Fort Williams about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, so we're much further north. We went about half an hour to 30 minutes ago, we went past the furthest north supercharger. So they could do with a supercharger up here. I'm a little bit worried about that, because I could do with trickle charging the car a little bit. And we've only got off-street parking, so I've got an extension lead. I'm hoping that's going to be long enough and we can sort something out. Just sort of kind of winging that a little bit, but it should be all right. If not, I'll find a charger locally. I'm sure there's a charger at shops nearby. But so far, it's been amazing. I've never felt so refreshed for a journey. I look a bit battered, but that's just, I was doing deadlifts this morning. It's really like bloodshot in my eyes. I probably feel, this is the genuine truth, I feel like I've driven an hour. It's really nice the car is doing the work for you, and it requires a lot less attention on the road. But I want to get across how amazing autopilot's been, how relaxed that's made me feel. Now I'm in the Tesla. We're going to be doing a bit of work around here. I've got 46 miles. We're going 5 miles at the moment to our first destination. And apparently, just by chance, there's apparently a 22 kilowatt Tesla wall charger there. So I'm going to get as much juice as I can in there. If I can get loads of juice in there, we're set for the week, for the weekend. And then we've got the trip back down to the most northernly supercharger, and then it'll be the same as getting here, I think. So if we can make it to that point, I think we're kind of safe. So they had a charger at this this restaurant. I've just done a quick charge at the restaurant was at. We sat there for a couple hours, so it only added 50 miles in total. It was charging at around 20 miles an hour, which is kind of slow for what I am used to. I'm used to 50 miles an hour on my 22 kilowatt charger. So I'm guessing it wasn't free phase, but that's cool. So we've now got 84 miles. We're going to be using that up all today. So I do need to find another wall charger somewhere. I'm with the Stoltman brothers. Like I said, if you're watching my other video about how big is the Tesla Model 3, you'll see the Stoltman brothers in that video, and that's who I'm with right now. He's just checked, and there is a charger where we're going tonight, so we should be good. But we're on the way to jump in the Loch Ness as it stands, so see you in a bit. Following Luke Stoltman, and Luke's got a pickup truck. He's got a Ford Ranger, and if you look on the car, it's actually got a pickup truck. So the visualization is a pickup truck. I don't know if you can see that if I'm messing that up. It's actually a pickup truck, so the visuals in the car are getting better as well. Just something I just noticed, I thought I'd say. I'd finished up my work in Scotland. We did a lot more than 100 miles. We was driving through a lot of towns and stuff. So one thing I struggled is, once we was past the limit, the reach of the supercharger network, which in here, in Scotland, the most northern one is in Aviemore, and we're about 60 miles north of Aviemore. So just nipping to a supercharger isn't sensible, it's not easy. And then on the last night, I thought, you know what, I'll just run an extension lead from the house that we're staying at to the car, which I'll show you in a sec. And, well, we had about 30 miles last night, and now we've got 162. So it's charging, it says it's charging at 13 miles an hour. I'm pretty sure it's doing it faster than that, but why did I do this before? There it is. What is out there? And there's a Tesla. But we're in a really nice neighbourhood, so there's no problem anyway. And it's just been charging. So now we've got 160, 170 miles. We're going to be filming around the local area, and then we're going to get a full charge at Aviemore. I can't explain how easy this journey is within the realms of the supercharger network. It's like literally ridiculous how easy. It's no hindrance whatsoever. 600 miles. So we're on our way back now. It's probably about a 500-mile journey back. The car's been super accurate with its miles left, even with, we've not got the aero wheels on, and we've got quite literally, I think, 300 kilos of equipment in the back. One thing I recommend, this is my little recommendation before we start this journey, is I think store a really long extension lead in your car. If you're going to places where there isn't a supercharging network and you're out in the sticks, wherever you are in the States or in the UK, I think keep a 25 metre, just to be on the ridiculously safe side, maybe a 25 metre extension lead somewhere knocking about in the car. We're on our way to the supercharger. It's not too far now. 12 miles left till we get to this charger. Yeah. Aviemore charger. Okay. This could be one of the best looking supercharger locations I've ever seen. So this is the most northernly supercharger there is. This is the furthest you can come up the country and touch a supercharger as it is. Clunkers, McDunkers, bug update. So we just watched one episode of Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown.
Yes.
And now we are about to hit the road again. I want to say thank you to everyone who's been using the referral code. This has saved us a lot of money coming down here, so thank you again. I just want to show you guys. So I don't know how it works, but current session would have cost £6.70. Obviously I've got the free supercharging miles from some of the people who've been using the link, so I do appreciate it. When you add up all the supercharging, it does make a massive difference. So thank you. If you're thinking about buying a Tesla, there's a link in the description and it helps support make these videos. Zero road markings, look at this. It's in autopilot right now. There's no road markings whatsoever. Okay, so we are just pulling up to the supercharger now. So second charger of today's journey. We've got 34 miles left. So it says we need about 30 minutes charge. And that's it. There you go, 5:30. So we are in Abington. We're going to do 35 minutes of charging and then we are on to the next one. We've already added 10 miles, which is kind of cool. I'm going to put Netflix on, chill out, and then see you later. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. We're in England now, we've crossed over the border. Okay, we're at the final supercharger. We're back on the Scotch corner in the UK, and we've got 25 minutes of charge to do, and then we're on the way home. Let's go plug in, and then let's see bug report. Here's bug report. Charging up, we're getting 115 kilowatts, 520 miles an hour. Right, we've got more than enough charge. 125 miles left to drive. We're on the road again. Hopefully, that's all good. What's going on, guys? I'm back in Nottingham, almost finished the journey up. It's been well over 1,000 miles. It's been a wicked journey. I'm gonna do a little roundup now of the journey in the studio because I think it's a bit late and I'm probably blabbering. I've been driving for what, 9 hours or something now. So I might not make much sense. So I'm gonna round this up tomorrow to the studio. So this is the roundup of the Nottingham to Invergordon, around the Highlands and back to Nottingham trip, 1,100 miles in the Standard Range Plus Model 3. First of all, let me just round up the facts of the trip. So the trip was around 480 miles there, 480 miles back. A few miles I added for just going to the chargers, and I did a little bit of detouring. So we was at around 980 there and back. We did well on over 120 miles in Invergordon and the Highlands, doing the work that we was doing whilst we were down there. You may have seen who we was doing the work with if you watched the other video. That's from a completely different kind of project, but yeah. In total, we did over 1,100 miles in the Standard Range Plus Model 3. That's a lot of miles. It's the most miles I've ever driven. So these are my opinions after driving the Standard Range Plus Model 3 1,100 miles in one road trip. Here are my opinions. So the first thing I want to get out of the way, which is everyone's question, is the Standard Range Plus mileage and range enough? And that was my biggest question. My biggest fear about buying the Standard Range Plus Tesla Model 3 is the 230 miles that you get enough? Is it going to be enough for what I do? And yes, you're not going to do more miles than we did. Well, some of you will. I know there's some people out there who will, but 600 miles in a day is enough for me. That's enough. I'm not doing more than that. And the Standard Range Model 3 was more than enough. More than practical enough, more than enough, comfortable enough, all those kinds of things. It was more than enough. So, is the Standard Range Model 3 more than enough range? Yes, it is. 230 miles is kind of strange. So it will get you around three hours of driving in total. 3 hours of driving. But what you're going to do is you're going to have a full charge when you leave. So you'll drive for 3 hours, full charge. You'll charge up, you'll drive for another 3 hours. You'll charge up, you'll drive for another 3 hours. That's 9 hours of driving, and that's basically what we did. You're not going to stop every hour. 3 hours of driving and a 20-minute break is amazing. It's such a good thing to be doing. It's what we should be doing anyway, but it's not a hindrance. I think people think, oh my God, I'm gonna have to stop for a supercharger, so it's gonna take the time. In total, I think we were sat at superchargers for an extra 40 minutes, maybe, something like that. I probably spent a lot longer at the superchargers. I think I was probably there for an hour in total on the way down there, and that's because I enjoy it. What's funny enough is that once I popped Netflix on, there wasn't enough time to enjoy the Netflix. By the time the car was charged enough to get to the next point, I'd only been into the show for 10 minutes, and I was like, oh, for God's sakes, I'm off again. So I like to stay, and then the car was fully charged for me. So I was getting to these destinations with full charge. Let's talk about the bad bits of charging this car. But again, I think it's positive, but I'm just being open and honest with you guys. So by the time we got to Invergordon, we were about 50 miles past the most northern supercharger there was. So we was out of the supercharging network. There was nothing around us that could supercharge. That's when you need to start planning and being practical with your charging. Now, what I should have done is when I was in the most northern supercharger, I should have put a full charge on the car. Then we could have driven the 120 to 200 miles that we drove around Invergordon, no problem. What I found myself doing at one point, I was at around 50, 60 miles, and I said, oh, I'm low on battery, I need to charge the car up. I would have been good for the rest of the day, but I didn't do it. My solution is what I should have done on the first night I was there. I got an extension lead to the car, and I used the travel charger, which adds, I think it was 13 miles an hour, which is wild, 30 miles an hour. Car's parked up for 10 hours, there's 130 miles added to the car. What's the problem? And that's the great thing about this car, because it's so efficient. From a house socket, it will do 13 miles of charge per hour. That's more than enough. So my advice to you is, if you're traveling a long distance with your Tesla, is take a big extension lead. We had off-street parking, but a 20-meter cable stretched across the street, no problem. You only get that in the Model 3. You won't get that in the Model S or Model X. In the Model X, I think it's like 8 hours. 8 miles, it might even be 6 miles, I don't know, I'd have to check, but this car's a beast. 30 miles an hour on a home socket's crazy. that was the only issue I had, and it was resolved by the travel charger. I've beat up on autopilot quite a lot and full self-driving quite a lot because it's not that great in the UK. I'm not experiencing anything that's like blowing my mind. But something has blown my mind on the way to Scotland, and that was I say 90, I think at least 95%, probably 97% of my driving was done with autopilot. I can't believe I could not drive the car there without autopilot anymore. You get so used to it. So here's my example for you. I drove to Fort Williams, which is around 2 hours less of a journey, I think, than Invergordon is. So less driving time, and I drove it in my Skoda over there. Nice big car, 1 tank of fuel. Drove it all the way up there. When I arrived, I kid you not, I was destroyed. I felt so battered mentally. I was fatigued. I know some of you guys might do long journeys, think that's ridiculous, but the 7 or 8 hours or whatever it was of driving, it just took it out of me. I felt awful. I bring on Invergordon, which is a couple hours more driving than what we drove to Fort Williams, and I drive it in the Tesla Model 3, and most of the driving was done on autopilot. No word of a lie. I promise you, no word of a lie. I arrive in Invergordon feeling like I'd probably driven about an hour and a half in terms of the mental focus. So much so that I can go and meet the people that I'm doing the work with that weekend and have a little chat, spend some time with them. Did not feel tired, felt so fresh to talk to them, plan and get some work done whilst I was there, and was mentally fresh and ready to talk. If I tried to talk to clients or people I was working with on Fort Williams, they wouldn't get a coherent word out of me. Honestly, it would have been so bad. And then I had time to go to the shops and then chilled out for a bit, and then I went to the Airbnb. There was no rush for me because I felt so fresh. And that is all down to autopilot. Every single bit of it is down to autopilot. On the way back to Nottingham, about 2 hours into the journey, I got put in autopilot jail because I didn't touch the wheel, I wasn't touching the wheel enough to let it know it was there. So it banned me from using autopilot for the rest of the trip. And I was devastated. I was, no, what am I gonna do? So I pulled over and got out of the car, locked the car with my key, got back in the car, and luckily enough, I could use autopilot again. Because I could not drive back with, is so much concentration when your safety and safety of others is required. In autopilot, it takes away it's so hard to explain because you still have to concentrate, obviously. It's like having 2 drivers, you and the car. And until you experience it, until you go on a really, really long journey, you just can't appreciate what autopilot does for you. I will not drive on the motorway or an A road without being in autopilot. I just won't do it. It seems so barbaric. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. It seems so barbaric to be driving a car that has not got these safety features on, that will not avoid somebody rear-ending you, that will not watch out for lorries pulling out. Someone pulled out on us and the car slowed down and let the car pull out. For Tesla to say it's 10 times safer to be engaged in autopilot than not engaged in autopilot, when you've experienced autopilot makes perfect sense. It's obvious. 1,100 miles in the Standard Range Plus Model 3. Is it possible? Yes, easily. Was it comfortable? Yes, more than comfortable. Was it safe? Yes. Do you need more range than the 230 miles that this car will give you? In my opinion, if you live in the UK, no. If you're traveling 1,000 miles, over 1,000 miles regularly in one stretch, so that would be 400 miles more than the first journey we did. If you are doing that regularly in one stretch, maybe consider the long range Model 3. In the UK, the Standard Range Plus is enough. And let me just finish on this. That brings the question of, why is it enough? 200 miles is a lot, but all of this is kind of made possible through the supercharging network. The supercharging network is everything. The car struggled a little bit navigating to Invergordon using the supercharging network. So I found out where the nearest a supercharger along the way, navigated to that, and then navigated to Invergordon. It had no problem, but it was struggling with I don't know why to calculate it, but we still basically took the exact same route, but I had to navigate there first. But the supercharging network made all of this possible. The other thing to take into question with this is battery degradation. I still don't think I've lost a mile on the stated range. This car is a little bit slower, so it's going to have a little bit less power draw, which I think is better for the battery. This car has a lighter battery, which again means that and is the most efficient vehicle, which again I think has less draw on the battery. One motor, less draw on the battery. I think this car will probably see the least amount of battery degradation, if I'm saying that right, degradation, than any other Tesla. And I mean, all the Teslas are bloody good anyway, so the fact that this one's probably going to be the best for loss of range, I suspect, is amazing. There you go. Standard Range Plus, more than enough range. You don't need anything bigger, in my opinion. If you're thinking about buying a Standard Range Plus, use a link in the description to buy it. Please support the channel, thank you so much. But the serious question you guys are asking, is the Standard Range Plus, does it have enough range? Am I going to be okay? Use this as your example and go, okay, bloody hell, the car's enough. It should be enough. With all that being said, guys, thanks for watching. If I haven't answered some of your questions, I definitely picked up some vital information along the way, so if I forgot something, comment below. Please comment below. Let me know the questions you want to know, and I'll answer them. The seats were comfy. I didn't get backache once, so the seats were really comfy. But any other questions, let me know, and I'll try and answer them. Buy the entertainment system for long journeys, it was amazing. Apart from that, that's everything, guys. I think please share this on Twitter. I think this is one of the longer journeys I've ever seen in the Standard Range Plus, so please share on Twitter. Do appreciate it a lot for you guys who have been sharing it on Twitter. Thank you so much. Maybe one day we'll get into Elon's peripheries and he'll see the video and he'll share it, you never know, and the channel will blow up and we're all laughing. Guys, thanks for watching. As always, you've been wonderful. And if you made it this far, if you really did make it this far, it's probably one of the longest videos I've ever done. I appreciate the support so much. Salute, comment salute down below. Salute to you guys who are actually genuinely watching these videos and supporting the channel. So comment salute down below. Thanks for watching, guys, as always, and the support's been amazing. I do appreciate it, and I've rambled on enough, so goodbye. Thank you for dealing with my ramblings, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one, guys. Peace.